Alright, hello everybody out there in internet land. This is yet another episode of the JimFear Podcast, and honestly, I'm kind of surprised that we've gone on as long as we have. I mean, this is... how do I math? Episode 17, I want to say? And, I'm kind of shocked, honestly, that we hit this milestone. I've been doing this for 17 weeks at this point. I honestly thought I was gonna get bored of it, or something was gonna come up, or what, but this is actually really fun. And I'm glad that you guys continue to come along with me, even after last week's podcast, which, you know, didn't really get any questions, but hey, that's fine. I can't really say I was clear, because I don't really know. But I'm glad you guys are sticking with me after that. I was kind of worried that a bunch of people were just, oh, he's just some misogynist guy, and you know, fuck off. But we are still here, we are still going strong, and I have to apologize because I don't really have a topic that I want to cover. So this is just kind of going to be a random, unfocused, podcasty kind of thing. So pour yourself a nice big old drink, get out your cigar or your cigarettes or whatever it is that you do, and let's get on with the show. So, on the bright side of things, I'm actually technically a professional audiobook producer at this point. Like, I got accepted by the two people. I've been recording and editing. I've got, like, 4 chapters in the introduction of one of the books uploaded, but it's like, it's weird, because the book is like 2 manuscripts. So, I've recorded all of the first manuscript, so I just have to record the second one, and then I have to get most of the first one edited, and then edit the whole second one, and edit this podcast, and, you know, hang out with my dad this weekend, and edit A Study in Scarlet. Thank God, next week's narration is all good. It's already done, and I think you guys are really gonna like it. If I may toot my own horn here, I think it's the best piece of audio production, audio drama I've ever put together. I'm super proud of how it turned out, and I think you guys are really, really gonna enjoy it. Also featuring special guest, who will remain secret until the proper time, which is next Wednesday. Probably going to be made public sometime in the morning. I'm going to try and get it uploaded before then. So yeah, make sure to tune in next Wednesday for a really, really kick-ass audio drama. I'm not going to tell you what it is, but I will tell you that in my humble opinion, which may not be so humble, but whatever, this is the definitive presentation of this story, in my opinion. I think I've done a better job than anybody who has ever touched this story before. And I know I'm saying that's a tall order and shit. I know I'm sounding really arrogant and all of that stuff, but up until this point, I think I've heard most of the versions of this story out there, and this one is the best one, in my opinion. And not just because I worked on it. But I put a lot of heart and soul into it, so I think you guys are really gonna like it. So be sure to tune in Wednesday. Yeah, on another note, I decided to look into, like, audiobooks. Not just making them, because, you know, that's kind of a given. I've been wanting to do that for a while, so I just kind of started doing it. A buddy of mine was just like, hey, here's the website that that Audible gets their audiobooks from. And you can just make an account and start uploading shit. And you can audition and get royalties and shit like that. And I was like, sign me the fuck up. So I did. And it was literally that easy. Well, not literally. I mean, like, I had to give them tax information and bank routing information and shit. But I have a distinct advantage in that my audio doesn't sound like crap. it doesn't sound like absolute crap. Now, the podcast here is not necessarily a fair measurement of what my audio sounds like when I'm actually trying, because the podcast is something that's meant to be just kind of laid back, just hang out with you guys, talk shit, maybe make fun of some news articles, talk about opinions or issues that particularly interest me, that I take it into my head to get involved in, or throw in my 2 cents on. But honestly, I'm not gonna lie, like, my audio quality is better than like 90% of the audiobooks out there. So you should buy it for that alone when they finally come out. One of them is a book on Greek history and like Greek myths and legends and stuff. That's the manuscript one. And I'm not gonna lie, it kind of, and this is not to really disparage the author, it kind of reads like an Indian exchange student's intro to Greek history term paper, is kind of what it reads like. But, it was riddled with typos. There weren't any citations, so I have no idea how true. I do not vouch for the veracity of the information contained in that audiobook at all. I'm just the voice. So if you hear weird phrasing or certain lines that don't make a lot of sense, that's not my fault. Okay, I'm literally just supposed to read what I'm given. And apart from some very minor kind of corrections as I was reading, I read what was given me. So, which is what I'm supposed to do. But the guy seems to like it. He hasn't contacted me about, fuck off yet. And like I say, the audio quality is really, really, really good. Really good. Like, ear sex good. Now, if only my voice was as chocolatey delicious as, like, Barnabas Demos. But anyway. So, for the longest time, I've had this thing called book bub. Like how Wolverine says bub, he calls everybody bub. Well, it's book bub. And what it is it's like an ebook subscription thing. And you don't have to pay to sign up. You just kind of go to the website and sign up. And then they email you every day with a bunch of deals on ebooks from Amazon. So if you've got, like, the Kindle like I have, it's really, really convenient because you can get some really awesome titles for stupid cheap. They even have books up for free sometimes. We're talking like maybe 4 books a week will be free. Now, whether or not you'll be interested in those books is anyone's guess, but you get to set your filters and stuff like that, so you kind of have some control over what shows up in your email inbox every day. But occasionally, when I'm looking at these deals that they have going on, I'll see a book that I want to get, and it'll have, when I go to the Amazon page, it'll say, add audible narration for like $2. And I'm like, fuck it. Yeah, sure, why not? I can listen to this shit if I get bored at work. Which has recently come up, oddly enough. But because the price of the books on that, the audible narrations on that was so low, I thought that was the price range of, like, Audible audiobooks. And I went and got an Audible account. I finally actually took the plunge and I got an Audible account. And it's not... I mean, it's pretty cool, but it's not really, like, the most bomb fucking shit ever. Like, basically what happens is you sign up, you pay, like, $14 a month, 15, something like that, and you get 1 free audiobook a month of any price. So if there's an audiobook up, like, I think The Dark Tower by Stephen King, I was looking at that one, was, like, $50 for the straight audiobook, which makes sense, because that's like a fucking 700-page novel, But yeah, the prices on this shit are kind of ridiculous. So when you get a membership, they give you like a 30% off on buying, on top of the free audiobook a month that you get. So, I mean, if you don't buy audiobooks, then you're basically paying $15 a month for 1 audiobook, which is cheaper than you would pay for most audiobooks out there. I did find a couple that were like $10. Like, I think John Dies at the End was like $11, which is an awesome book. And if you have time to read, or if you're one of those people like me who doesn't have time to actually sit down with a book anymore, and you need someone to kind of read it to you, even though that kind of sounds insulting, just while you're at work or something, you can listen to a story. Get the audiobook for John Dies at the End. I haven't listened to it yet. I'm just assuming that they did a good job, but the book is so fucking good anyway, it doesn't really matter if the audiobook was recorded on a potato. Which it might be, who knows? It's a mystery. But getting the Audible account was really heartening about, like, looking into making audiobooks for Audible, because they don't charge, like, exorbitant prices for their audiobooks just on the face of it. Because, I mean, you gotta think. Like, if this book was... Let's say it wound up being, like, 20 hours long. The narration is, like, 20 hours long. Somebody had to sit in an audio booth, or at least in front of a microphone, for bare minimum 25 hours and read that. So that's labor right there. I know a lot of people don't think voice acting is labor, which voice acting is basically what you're doing when you're reading an audiobook. It's labor. It's not easy work. You have to be very careful about how you sound, and if you put voices to certain characters, then you'd best not fuck that up. You have to kind of mitigate your mouth noises as much as possible. You have to control your breathing. It's a lot more involved than people think it is. So that's just the narrator right there. And if the narrator is like me, who, you know, I narrate everything, and then I have to go in and edit it, and then upload it. You know, I don't have a team to work on this shit for me. That's another, God only knows how many fucking hours right there. Plus distribution, plus the writer, plus the publisher. So, yeah, it kind of makes sense that these audiobooks would be in the kind of, like, $10 to, I don't know, $50, $60 range, depending on what it is. I got one. Hang on. Let me actually pull up my Audible thing. I can go to the website now because I have an account. Audible.com. Yeah, sorry if you guys hear my cat running around in the background. She's feeling particularly active tonight. Okay, my books. Yes, here we go. I just want to see, this is it. This one really, like, I don't remember how much it was, but honestly, that didn't really matter to me. I think this was the one I used my first credit on. It's The Legend of Drizzt, the R.A. Salvatore. It's the collected stories, so it's like a bunch of short stories about Drizzt Do'Urden. I usually just say Drizzt, even though I know that's not how you fucking pronounce it, because it's easier to fucking say than Drizzt. But, apparently, this has a fucking all-star cast. Literally an all-star cast. This is fucking ridiculous. So it's let me just read the publisher's summary right here. Just the first paragraph here. Do you mind, Cat? I'm trying to talk to the people here. The Legend of Drizzt, the collected stories, expands upon the epic legend of the Dark Elf with 12 tales performed by an all-star cast of Felicia Day, Dan Harmon, Greg Grunberg, Tom Felton, Danny Pudi, P-U-D-I. I don't know how to pronounce that name. Is it Pudi? Putty? I don't know. Sean Astin, Melissa Rauch, R-A-U-C-H, Rauch, Ice-T, Will Wheaton, who's, like, a total douchebag, and I hate that I put money in Will Wheaton's fucking pocket, but this was the one... Well, there's two here that really grabbed me, apart from Ice-T, because, goddamn, you know, fantasy short stories read by fucking Ice-T. I mean, it doesn't get more fucking gangster than that. Al Yankovic. Yes, Weird Al Yankovic read a story for the collected stories of The Legend of Drizzt. I saw that and I was like, no fucking way. There ain't no fucking way. No, Weird Al is not doing audiobooks. But he's fucking listed in the credits. I still have to listen to it. I still have to listen to the thing, which I'm going to. But who else is on this? Michael Chiklis, the main guy from The Shield. And David Duchovny from the fucking X-Files, baby. Yeah. So yeah, I saw that and I was just like, nope, this is the one that I'm getting. This is my new thing. But I didn't start listening to that one because I wanted to see if they had. But wait a minute. Let me go back. It was really heartening about how much money that I could stand to make from this. Because like I say, this is what I want to be doing. I want to get to the place within like 2 years max where I'm making enough money off of these audiobooks that I don't have to have a day job and I can just devote all my time to this. Because time is money, and this is where I'd rather be making my money, quite frankly. I'd also like to be making money off of YouTube and shit like that, but the YouTube thing isn't taking off all that much. But with the audiobooks, it's not just, my draw. It's not just me sitting there like, hey, I do things, guys. Subscribe to my YouTube channel and, check out my blog spot and shit like that. It's a story that I'm reading that, hopefully, talented author has written who actually has an audience. So, I can kind of piggyback off of their success and maybe pick up a couple of people every audiobook and, direct you guys to the stuff when it comes out. So it's a good way to make money off of what I really want to do, which is independent voice work. I mean, it would be great if I could one day get a job, like, on a cartoon or a video game or something like that, do voices for that. But that's not necessarily the goal here. I mean, that would be really cool, but I would rather do it independently. I would rather do it my fucking self. Kind of like pull myself up by my own bootstraps kind of shit. And this is a really good way to do that. And it kind of gave me hope when I actually went and started shopping around for audiobooks to listen to at work, because these actually sell for a fair amount of money. And it is fair. It's not fair as in, like, wow, there's kind of a price tag on that. But it's also fair for the amount of work that goes into it. So, double entendre. Yes, I know that's not how it's actually pronounced. But I haven't listened to this one yet, as much as I really fucking want to, because I wanted to see if they had a narration up of Dreamcatcher by Stephen King, which is quite possibly my favorite Stephen King novel, but not necessarily because of anything in it, although it is a really, really, really good novel. Like, that was definitely one of his better ones. Like, that one's right up there with the Dark Tower series for me. Like, Dreamcatcher, Dark Tower, Dark Half. Well, fuck, I don't have my goddamn books here, so I can't really... I mean, I went and picked out a couple of Stephen King novels on the wish list thing that they have here, so maybe I can go here and find some. Of course, they're all at the fucking Dark Tower. The Stand. It's one of the best books that he ever wrote, in my opinion. But the reason that I wanted that one is because that was the book that I was reading, and I don't know if I should get into this, because this might kind of bring the podcast down and shit. Get into a dark place, man. But that was the one that I was reading when I went on the last vacation that I took with my mom before she died. So that book kind of has a special place in my heart. That was, we went, because I want to say, like, some kind of insurance had cashed in or something. And we went on this really nice vacation down to the Caribbean. That was the first time I'd ever been out of the fucking country. It's the only time I've ever been out of the fucking country. And we went on, like, I don't know, like a Carnival cruise or something like that. I was sick for, like, the first day and a half. I had not gotten my sea legs. I was seasick as shit. And they had a House of the Dead 3 machine set up in the arcade, which is where me and my brother occupied most of our time. But I also brought a couple of books along because I'm a fucking nerd like that, and I always have a book with me. Always. even if it's on my phone. I don't have to carry around paperbacks anymore because I have Kindle on my phone. So I have books on my phone now. I can just sit and read where the fuck ever. It's awesome. Like, I love the feel of a good book, and I'll never get over print media. But the ability to have a book or multiple books wherever you are without having to carry around bulky books is awesome. But I was reading Dreamcatcher, and like we would go and we would play House of the Dead, and then hang out, look around the ship, make trouble, probably. I wanted to play blackjack, but they wouldn't let me because I was too young. They wouldn't let me in the casino because there's a bar in there and kids shouldn't be gambling. It's like, I just want to play blackjack, man. Can't you just, like, deal me in and, like, I don't count for anything? Like, if I win, fuck it. We'll just play another round. Like, I wasn't really interested. I just like to play the game, But it was really nice because at nighttime, I wouldn't go to bed early. I would stay up and I would go out onto, like, on the rail on the outside of the boat. They had, like, walkways. It was really nice. They had, like, walkways with chairs and shit set up out there, and I would, like, sit on the chairs and face out on the ocean and just watch the ocean and read Dreamcatcher. And that was one of the things that, like, really stuck with me about that. Like, I also remember going to, like, the captain's dinner and having to wear, like, a tux because Mom wanted to do it, and we did it because she wanted to. And it was pretty cool. Real, like, suit and tie. The food wasn't all that good. I would much rather have gone to the pizza bar, and gotten some real food. But, it was a nice vacation. And because of that, not just because it's a good book, but because of that, Dreamcatcher will always have a special place in my heart. And I recommend Dreamcatcher, the audiobook, because the guy who narrated it really knows what he's doing. Like, keeps mouth noises down to a minimum. I hardly heard a breath. I'm through, like, I don't know, fucking 9 hours of this audiobook so far. Barely heard a single fucking breath. It's really cleanly read. He has minor voices that don't break the flow of immersion, because it's like, what the fuck is this guy doing with his voice? It's just a really well done performance. Like, if you could up the audio quality of that, that's kind of what I aspire to be, and that's kind of what I try to do. So I highly recommend picking up the audiobook of Dreamcatcher. But yeah, I can't wait to get to this fucking thing with Weird Al in it. I never expected to see Weird Al on a fucking audiobook. Like, not in a million fucking years did I expect to see Weird Al on an audiobook. So I'm really excited about that, because Weird Al really doesn't have the voice. Like, if you ever listen to the guy talk, he doesn't really seem like he's got the voice for audiobooks, you know what I mean? I mean, I'm one to fucking talk myself, but it just never really struck me as Weird Al being like playing a character. Yeah, definitely. He could absolutely play a character in an audiobook, but reading like an entire short story, I'm not really sure how to take that. So I can't wait to listen to that, and I will report back to you guys. That's probably going to be the next one that I listen to after I get done with Dreamcatchers. I also found one that continues the story of Herbert West Reanimator, which I'm kind of excited about. It's got a lot of high marks. It's like 4.5 stars. So I'm kind of excited about it, but I don't really like going by popular opinion and shit. Because that's not usually a good... I mean, popular opinion likes Justin Bieber and Miley Cyrus. So, so much for popular opinion. But, yeah. Alright. Well, that's about all I had to say on that, and we've already filled up a good, almost a half hour here. Probably less. We're probably closer to 25 minutes than I'd like to admit, but fuck it. Fuck it. So yeah, go check out Audible, guys. It's worth it. It's really good. Like just looking at some of the shit on my wish list right here, and there's a lot on my wish list. Because I would just sit at work and I would thumb through. Like, I found out that they had Philip K. Dick's novels on Audible, and I'm just like, oh, finally, all of these novels that I'll never get to actually sit down and read. You know, and I own most of them, which is, you know, which I'm proud of, but, you know, lots of this stuff is, like, the exegesis of Philip K. Dick. Like, that's a fucking audiobook now. That's 52 hours long. I have that book. You could kill a man with it. You could literally bludgeon a human being to death with the physical hardback copy of this book. You could drop it out of a third-story window and break someone's goddamn neck with it. And it's unabridged. So the unabridged version is $35 is the regular price. The member price is $24.49 or 1 credit. So you're looking at like $24.50 or for free if I wait a month, which, you know, this $24, that's not the most expensive one I've seen. Actually, let me go and find The Dark Tower. I'm actually just going to go and look that up because... Yep, there we go. Okay. Yeah. The real price, the regular price for The Dark Tower is $60. It is 60 fucking bucks. But with the member price, which I think I have a gold membership, it's $37.95. Which is really good. That's like a huge lop off that price. So I'm pretty happy about that. I have no idea why it's so expensive though. It's only, well, I mean, it's only 28 hours. You know, but then again, I mean, I have work for like 8.5, 9 hours a day plus a 2-hour commute. So 28 hours, that's like 3 days if I just listen to that. So yeah, I would recommend Audible if you guys out there are really into books and literature and reading, but you don't really have the time to sit down and read. You know what I mean? I highly recommend things like Kindle and Audible and shit like that. It's so cool to just have this in your pocket. And they don't take up too much memory either. Like this book is probably... I'm going to go out on a limb here and say like 500 megabytes. Just to download it to your phone and listen to it. It's really not that bad of a strain on your phone's memory or anything. Which is good news for me, because I like to have a lot of audio shit on my phone just to listen to it. But ever since I stopped listening to like Glenn Beck and Mark Levin and Ben Shapiro and people like that, you know, I'm bored. And like Pseudopod and Escape Pod and No Sleep and No, I Don't Want Other... You will stop asking me that right now. And all of these other podcasts that I listen to where they narrate stories, like Ron's Amazing Stories and Drabblecast and the Myths and Legends podcast and Lore and stuff like that. Like, those guys only update like once a week or once every 2 weeks. So that's not really a whole lot of audio. And most days, I just don't feel like listening to Honey Badger Radio. Like, I'm sorry, I support what those gals and guys do. I absolutely love Honey Badger Radio, but, you know, there's some days where you're just not feeling it, man. You know what I'm saying? You're just... You really just don't want to stick your head into the toilet that is modern gender relations and politics. And you would just rather listen to someone tell a cool story, to someone read you a cool story. So this is a good way to do that. You know, also those podcasts. If you guys are interested in the podcast that I listen to, they're all really good. They get really good shit. Like Lightspeed is a good one. Podcastle, which is fantasy. Like I said, Escape Pod, Pseudopod, No Sleep, of course. Yeah, just shit like that. And of course, like Night Vale and Alice Isn't Dead. But like I say, most of these guys aren't updating all that often. So you get this, like you pay $38 for 28 hours and 10 minutes of pure story that you can just plug in and listen to whenever the fuck you feel like it. And if that's not a good deal, I don't know what is. Well, I mean, maybe this one is a bit expensive, but it is the last book in the biggest epic Stephen King ever fucking wrote. So I can kind of understand them charging a little bit extra for it. You know, trying to get a copy of the actual book, The Dark Tower, is like performing self-surgery on your own nutsack with a hacksaw. It's prohibitively expensive. You're paying like $35 for a copy of that shit. So, you know, I can kind of understand where they're coming from with this. But yeah, it's got like a shit ton of Stephen King books. Most of these I haven't even heard of, man. That guy writes a lot. Like, I haven't read Stephen King really since I got out of high school. And I got out of high school in like 2006, something like that. So it's been a long fucking time since I've looked at Stephen King's library, and that guy puts out like 3 novels a year. I mean, really, Stephen King is like one of the most prolific authors in history. He's probably got the most stories, I would say. Probably. Like, including short stories and his novels and the TV shows that he's been a part of and shit like that. I would say he's probably the most prolific writer on planet Earth. I might be wrong about that. There might be someone out there who just wrote like 400 casquillion things, and I've never heard of this guy. But so far as I know, Stephen King's really fucking up there. He writes a lot. Like, that's his passion. That's his job. He doesn't get tired of it. And God bless him. God bless him. I mean, from what I understand, his books have kind of been going down in quality the past few years. Like, I read Cell, and I liked Cell. The first half of Cell was really good. And then it got fucking weird. Like, it was a different take on the whole kind of zombie apocalypse thing, because it didn't really turn people into zombies. What was that movie? There was a movie that's basically the plot of Cell, except better. Is it The Signal? I think it's The Signal. I want to say it's The Signal. Is an American science fiction thriller. What's the fucking plot? 3 MIT students, stresses in a relationship, blah, blah, blah. Ominous emails. They track Nomad to an abandoned house in Nevada. Finding nothing in the house. No, this isn't it. This isn't it. It's not The Signal. It's... Oh, fuck. Maybe it was just Signal. No, that's the same fucking thing. It wasn't VHS. Fuck it. I know who to ask. I'll go to Tumblr later, and I'll ask Tina Flyviper about it. She's seen every fucking horror movie. Ever. All of them. Every single one. So she'll know. She'll know. But it was like The Crazies. You know what I mean? There was this signal that went out through televisions and telephones, and this is the movie I'm talking about here, that went out through televisions and telephones and shit like that, and it made people go fucking crazy, and they really thought that they were doing the right thing. Like, they weren't like raging psychopaths screaming in people's faces while coming after them with machetes. They were like cold, methodical killers who really had everything well worked out. And then it got like, it had like 2 or 3 sequels, and it just went like into fucking crazy town, man. Like, it turned out that this was caused by ghosts or something, and people had to move out into the fucking boonies beyond the cell. It wasn't Cell. No, they didn't make a movie out of Cell. Apparently they are making a movie out of Cell. So that's not the fucking movie I'm looking for. I'm just going to type this random shit. That one movie with that one guy. Thank you. That drives people crazy. With the TV signal that drives people crazy. It's not the signal! God damn it! It actually might be the signal. I don't know. I'm gonna have to look. I'm gonna have to go and watch the signal now. Because it's been like 5 years since I've seen this movie, but it was so good. It's not Thesis. It's not Trouble Every Day. There's supposed to be more than this. Or is this the signal? Hang on. Let me just go through the trailer right quick. I don't even have my headphones on. I'm not really gonna be listening to it. This might be. Let me get my fucking headphones. This might be it. Let me see here. I can't. No, I think this is it. Cause I recognize that blonde chick. Yeah, this is the movie. Yeah, The Signal. The Signal is kind of the same plot as Cell, except, or at least the first half of Cell. Like, I had to see the guy the guy with the beard, with the brown-haired guy with the beard and the coveralls. Like, he works at an old school gas station out in the country or something like that. Like, he gets hit hard with The Signal, man. But, yeah, like, you get into, like, the second or third movie, and it turns out that it's, like, ghosts doing this or something like that, and they have to, like, the dead are coming back through electronic signals, and they're driving people crazy and driving people to kill other people and shit. And it's, oh god, it's such a good movie. You guys have to go check out The Signal. If you get a chance, go check out the fucking Signal. And look up the sequels too. They're also good movies. It starts to get weird because if I remember right, like, they can't go through red. So, like, there's this one person living in the city, but they have like an apartment and they scavenge shit, but the apartment's covered in red tape, and they have like a red tape suit and shit so that the ghosts can't get them. It's so fucking weird. I'm gonna have to actually go watch this movie again because I remember how fucking good it is now. But yeah, Cell has that kind of same thing. Like, the way it happens in the book is it starts out with this guy or this lady or whatever, and she's in line to get like ice cream on the streets of New York or something, or like a euro or something like that, and everybody's phone goes off at once. And people pick up their phones and they're like, hello? And then they're just like frozen there for a minute. And he doesn't really notice it because he doesn't like have a cell phone or whatever. And then like people just go crazy, and this little teeny bopper teenage girl like eats an old woman's face off. And that's how the book starts. And and then it gets fucking weird from there. Like, it just goes into crazy town. Like, the zombies start moving in herds, because they do move in herds. And they seem to have a destination in mind, and then one of them gets psychic, and it can float and communicate with people, and it's just, like, the second half of that book is so fucking weird. But the first half is really good, like, apocalypse fiction. I highly, highly recommend The Signal and Cell. Not so much the second half of Cell. First half is pretty good. First half is better than passable, I would say. It's actually, like, pretty damn good. The second half is just weird, but not bad. It's like, it stops being scary. You know, it stops being a horror story, and then it turns into just a weird story. Like H.P. Lovecraft and Stephen King, like, had a baby with Robert Heinlein and Isaac Asimov. I don't know. It's just fucking weird. You have to actually read it to understand what I'm talking about here. Or get the audiobook. That's an option. I'm thinking about doing that because it's been a long fucking time. Like, I think I read that back when I was in high school or something. When the fuck did that book come out? Because, no, that's not... I'm not looking at the cell for biology, no. 2006. So yeah, that came out like the year I graduated. So I must have read that like right after it came out. So yeah, it's been about 10 years since I read this book. So, you know, don't hold it against me if I'm wrong on my estimation of this. But I remember enjoying it. It's been for fucking ever since I've seen these movies and read these books. But yeah. So, well, we got about 15 minutes here. Actually, you know what, guys? Because of all of the shit that I have to do this week, like I'm gonna have to get out of this, and then I'm gonna have to edit this, like quick edit this one, and get it ready to go and uploaded, and then I have to go and edit the rest of those because I started drinking, so I can't do voice acting tonight. Dries out my vocal cords. I'll just be sat here hotboxing myself and, like, I don't know, have a fucking stroke or something. But I need to get the rest of that shit edited so I can start getting it uploaded proper, get the rest of those chapters uploaded. So yeah, thank you guys very much for your kind attention. I really do appreciate you taking time out of your finite lives to listen to the ramblings of this ignorant, drunken asshole. Check out Audible. I'm going to be up there one day soon. Like, I'm actually, like, signed legal papers. I have contracts with people to produce audiobooks for them. So this isn't one of those things that's never going to materialize. We're talking, like, a month from now. I'm going to have audiobooks on Audible that you can buy and download to your digital device and listen to them to your heart's content. Just listen to them over and over. You know, masturbate to the sound of my voice if you fucking want to. Though why you would want to, I have no idea. But anyway, so far as the iTunes thing goes, guys, I am so fucking sorry. I have been really lax about the iTunes thing. I'm going to get back on that as soon as this week is over. We're basically, like, give me till Monday. And after Monday, I will start updating that shit again. Because this has been hell week. I didn't even get a day off. That's why I'm having to cut this podcast short. Which is not going to be short if I keep fucking talking. But, like, I didn't get my day off this week because one of the girls quit. And now we're both having to pull, like, full 6-day shifts. So the overtime check is going to be looking pretty nice. But apart from that, I just do not have time to do everything that I want to do right now. I have to get this audiobook done by Monday. And my dad's coming down this weekend, and I got to try and find time to hang out with him and get all of this shit done. And I have to keep updating the YouTube channel. So yeah, that's just kind of where things are at right now. After Monday, I will start updating the iTunes again. You can expect a good influx of shit into the iTunes. And if you're not subscribed to the podcast on iTunes, then what the fuck are you doing? Go subscribe to the podcast on iTunes, goddammit. You can get me in your phone. Every week. 3 times a week. Once I get off my lazy ass and start actually updating that shit. It's a process, though. It's a process, and it's an annoying process, and it's a long and involved process. But it's a process. So yeah. I reckon that's it, guys. You know, thanks very much for tuning in. I love you all very dearly, and I will catch you next week, where hopefully I will have something more substantive to talk about, and my cat won't be, like, hanging on top of my audio tent making noise. But yeah, I'll catch you guys next week. Have a good one, y'all. Peace.